Hi everyone, my name's Emily. We are going to do a quick tutorial on how to get into the splits. So ideally you would be doing this practice after another workout so your body is warmed up. So you could either incorporate it into a yoga practice, or say you go for a hike or a walk or a spin class or anything like that. This is just a quick couple minute sort of thing that you would add into your regular routine. So the thing with learning the splits though is you have to do it, ideally every day, but at least like 3-4 times a week for your body to be able to open up in that way. Once you get it, it stays. I mean, you can go like a really long time without practicing and it's still there, but it does take a while to get there. So we'll start by just doing some quick hamstring stretches. Again, ideally you would have like already done a workout and be warmed up before you get into this. Okay, so I have no yoga block. So I'm using a stack of books that won't slide around. So I picked books in my house that are like hardcover and big and kind of substantial, right? So we have our books. I'm gonna slide back here so you can see me for a forward fold hamstring stretch. So look at my legs here. I have toes up, right? This is the best way to get into your calves, your hamstrings, and your low back. You kind of like shimmy shake a little bit. Inhale, get really tall, toes up, and my legs, I don't know if you can see, but my heel is off the ground a little bit. My legs are so engaged that my heels are off the ground. Say this is like 100% work, then you would relax to about 80. So now my heels are on the ground, but I still have my toes up, my heels pushing away. Lots of work happening here. Inhale, length, straight spine, and crawl your fingers towards your legs. Okay, so this is like the shape that we want. This, it might feel like you're getting farther. See how I'm rounding and I can touch my toes. It feels like a success, but it's really a loss because I'm not getting into my hamstrings. So we're lifting and lengthening and then creepy crawling our fingers forward. Imagine that there's a magnet on your chest and a magnet on your big toes, and your toes are trying to make it to your chest. Your chest is trying to make it to your toes, and we just keep on working down. The breath is important here. As you inhale, you lengthen. Imagine your little chest magnet making it to your toes. As you exhale, you drape forward a little more. We'll take a few breaths here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, stretch forward. Inhale, length. Exhale, even more. Really settling into this. If having legs straight is a bit much, it's a very easy fix. You'll bend your knees. It's still the engagement of your heels pushing away. So imagine you're at the beach where we all want to be right now, and you're in the sand, your heels are in the sand, and you're pushing the sand away from you, like making these tracks in the sand. So you'll get as far as you can. Let's say this is a good spot, and it's still the rest of it's the same. So it's the inhale length, and then draping yourself forward. Do you see my feet? I still have toes up, heels up. I'm gonna stretch all the way down, a little bit more. Head and neck relax as much as you can. And there you go. Adding a side stretch. Option A, my foot's on the inside, my right foot's on the inside of my left. See, I still have this awake foot in my left. Option B, a deeper stretch, you cross over. So A, less intense, B, more intense. If you're not sure which way to go, if you can cross over and keep both sit bones, so both butt bones on the ground, then you're good with option B. If this lifts, then your body's saying option A. Inhale, length. Again, straight spine, left foot's active, and we twist to the side. Most of us will feel it low back, maybe this outer hip, IT band. Getting really tall. My right hand is super light on the ground. have the feeling of I could lift it. So not a kickstand, more of a decoration or even a measure of how far you're twisting. Peek over your right shoulder. And then we switch. Switching sides so you don't have to look at the back of my head. Option A, option B. Inhale, length get tall. Right foot's active, left fingertips are light, and we twist. Imagine both sit bones down into the ground, and just above it, spine lengthens and twists. Spine lengthens up one more notch and twist. Lengthen, twist. And here we go. And release. Back to that same forward fold. Inhale, get tall, feet are still active, and you'll notice you can go even closer to the ground. So, is it okay to do this? No. Is it okay to do this? Yes. Or straight legs. Okay, now I'm starting on my knees. Right leg stretches forward. Notice my hips are up. So I'm having to engage my inner thighs, my outer thighs to hold myself into this position. Same thing with my foot. Toes point up, heel pushes away. Imagine you're tracking the ground. Inhale, length, and we're folding forward. So a bit more engagement here. These stretches aren't relaxing. They're active. Active stretches, heel pushes away, stretch, stretch, stretch. And we switch. So again, rear is up. Heel, left heel is pushing away. Your knee can be bent. And you're folding down. How's it going? Big stretch. Okay, adding on. So we know this. We did this. You can either, we'll go through it 3 rounds. This is round 2. So you can either do the same, squeezing of the inner thighs, like your fingertips are super light. They're just kind of here like a little help. Okay, if your low belly can make it down to your thigh, you're ready to go to do some more. So if you're here, you hang out here. This is round 2. If your low belly can make it down, then you're ready to go a bit deeper. You'll take your left hand, outer edge of your right foot, and add a slight twist here. So the stretch is still the hamstring, and you'll start to feel it in this outer hip, like we did when we were sitting on the ground with that twist, only it's more intense. We're getting as low as we can, spine is straight, heel pushes away, and we're up. Switch legs. You have the lift, you have the stretch. If the low belly makes it down, you can add your twist. And release. Toes curl under. Sitting back on your heels. Lift, tailbone draws down, and sit. So we're working for a deep stretch in the front of the thighs. Some of you might feel it more in your feet. Some of you feel it in your thighs. If you're up here and can't go down, you could take a pillow or a book, buy yourself some space. If you want to go deeper, tops of your feet come down. We're still sitting on our heels. So sits bones on your heels, drawing the tailbone down, hanging out here. We're here for at least 5 breaths. You have version 1, up on your toes. This one. Version 2, this is called Virasana, sitting on your heels. Version 3, your toes go wider. I'm going to sit right between my heels. Now, hugely important, look at my foot. My toes are pointing back, my heels are pointing up. This, towards the knee, no. sit back. So again, if you get stuck, like, oh, can't make it all the way down, you have your stack of books. You can sit on them. Books are nice because you can you can adjust the height. Heels up, toes back, lift the skin of one knee, lift the skin of the other knee, and hang out. Right, so this is version 2. If it works to go all the way down, you go all the way down. My knees are coming straight out from my hips. And if all of this goes well, if your toes are back, if your sit bones are down, if your knees are forward, you can play with going all the way back. Make sure you have room. So as I'm leaning back, I'm looking at my knees. If my knees start to lift up off the ground, my body's saying no. And you'll continually lift, draw your tailbone down towards the backs of your knees. It intensifies this stretch. And then, here we go. So again, if your knees lift up, if your knees splay out, your body's saying, slow down. And these stretches, remember, like I said at the beginning, it takes time. It takes time to get into these deep stretches. And if you're, thinking about how far you're going, just be competitive with yourself yesterday, not where you want to be, or some crazy Instagram photo. Just think about the stretch. Okay. Out of that, take a moment, remind your legs how to be straight. You could push back to down dog. And we're ready for version 3 of that runner's hamstring stretch. Have your books, just in case. 3rd round. So you can take option A. Option B is the twist. Option C, we start sliding this front foot, this right foot, we push it forward. So I'm still squeezing in my thighs, squeezing in my outer hips, and I slide. Look, my left leg's going back, my right leg's going forward. Okay? My back leg, my knee is down. So that inner thigh squeeze is what holds you up in this pose. If you're not squeezing, you end up doing kind of this like sloppy to the side thing, and we want to be here. Maybe one arm lifts, maybe one arm lifts, maybe both. Okay, so what happens if you're here? You can do the twist. Going all the way down is like, Emily, you're crazy. That's not happening. That's where your books come in. So you'll start with your books really close, like to this hamstring attachment, really close to where your leg comes out of your tush. So you hang out here. Again, thighs are squeezing. I'm trying to draw my right hip back and pull my left hip forward. You can't see my right toes, but I'm still pointing them up. Okay? As you get a little deeper, you can take some of these books out and you can slide it forward. Right? So I'm always keeping the engagement. I'm always drawing my right hip back. Forgot about my toes. I'm always pushing my toes up. What we do on one side, we do on the other. Are your sides going to be the same? No. One side will be tighter. If you're right-handed, your right side is probably tighter. Left will be more flexible. Okay, so I'm prepping here, and we'll slide down. Maybe you use blocks. Maybe you don't. Ugh, this is tight. That's okay, the sides are different. Lightness in your fingertips. Left hip draws back. Left heel pushes away from you. There you go. Both legs forward. Forward fold. You can try fancy things. Let's do something fancy. I'm going to do it on my right leg forward. But you can play with sliding forward. So look at this. Do you see how this is sloppy? How my right hip's tipping forward? I need to pull back, right hip back. You can play with grabbing this left foot. A quad stretch. Maybe grab the foot, pull it up. All sorts of fun things. Finish in neutral. So both legs are doing the same thing. Both legs are going forward. Forward fold. And we're done. There's your splits.